Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our state board meeting. Meeting. Introduce our commissioners coming to my left. Commissioner Rob Russell, Director Sullivan, Commissioner Pulaski, Commissioner Roger Higgins, Commissioner Harvey Smith, Council Carl Whitback, and as chairman. We'll see you around the room with distinguished department. All right, documents. Second. Any questions? Any copy? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, the administration resource team hearing.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to call the first one, Mr. Williams.
Yes.
All right, want to put something back with the
Yep.
All right. Second, just the one version, how do you look first?
Okay, so this is our emergency standby readiness contract to the Hudson Valley Bridge right now. In 2015, we gave them the contract, and that was for 3 years, which is expiring at the end of the year. We've got potential to add on 2 additional 1-year periods, and we would like to do the first 1-year period now from January 1, 2019 to December 31st, 2019. Hudson Valley has been performing very adequately for us. They've been available and doing the work, basically with Newburgh Beacon, Bear Mountain deck shoring and repairs. They've done some medium barrier replacement at Hudson here, a yellow flag at Newburgh, various guide rail repairs and sign installations. I'd like to have the board extend their contract for, we already have in the capital plan not to exceed an amount of $500,000 for emergency repairs this coming year.
So, second, please.
Second.
Motion. If not, all in favor, say aye.
We'd like to get into the inspection of the testing phase of the cable evaluations at Mid-Hudson Bridge and Bear Mountain Bridge. We had granted Majeski and Masters a contract to do the inspection, get the plans and specs for the contractor to open up the cables at 8 locations at each bridge. And now we'd like to get them into the testing phase. There's a fee of $174,974.41 for Mid-Hudson and $242,909.92 for Bear Mountain. This encompasses 180 tensile tests at Mid-Hudson, which is actually down from 400 that were performed the last time we've done the inspection, because we have some history now. The way the testing is done, according to the NHCRP report 534, it's based on the percentage of level 4 wires that you have on the bridge. Level 4 being where you get into corrosion of the wire itself, significant, and based on the cracks that are in the wires. So where the report says you can anticipate 65% cracking in those level 4 wires, we're experiencing, based on past history, 30 to 34% on the 2 bridges. So with not having as much cracks, you don't have to take as many samples to get a good sample. So that's why the sampling is going down, and actually the costs are associated with that, less than what we
What they say is how long a strand do they have to have?
Well, they have various lengths, but they're testing small lengths of the wire. We're also doing 2 suspender ropes at each bridge also that we're having tested. So they're being tested at Lehigh, the suspender ropes.
When they're looking at the strands, how do they know not to pick out the worst strand?
Well, they can't tell where that there's cracks in the wires until they look under a microscope. So that's why you have to grab so many samples so that you get so many good pieces of wire. And if 65% of the wires have cracks in them, then you have to grab more samples to get good samples. So since we know we only have 34% cracks.
So how do they get the samples? Do they cut them out of the bridge?
Yes.
Really?
Open the wire, unwrap it, open, wedge it apart, dig in, and cut it out.
What does that do to you?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole process is to eliminate cracks.
It does add stress to the cable when you're driving wedges in, which is why, there's a variety of lengths of time between inspections,
So fewer
some
samples
people-
are better, it'll help.
So now, we're
maintain
talking
it.
two different things. He's talking about the stress caused by the opening of the cable. We're talking about the loss of weight bearing capacity because you take the wires out.
Yeah, but if he's saying we have to take less samples, then that's goodness,
But
right?
what happens is, the way the cable's wrapped, the weight bearing capacity is restored in a relatively short span. of
Understand
cable.
that.
So you just take one out.
Taking how many are in that cables are probably 2 or 3.
There's 7,000 wire, plus minus wires in each of the, in Hudson versus there now.
So how many would be a quantity of samples?
The sampling, no, like I'm saying, we're gonna do 180 tests. You can actually, we'll take a 1 foot length of wire and you might get 3-4 samples out of that 1 length of wire. And, we opened up 8 different locations, so we're grabbing wires from 8 different locations also.
Of course, we went back to the same location every time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But 92% of the cable is in really excellent shape.
Probably where the markets are looking like that. That's sort of the variation there too, we have to check.
Right, so we've taken the cable bands off and found that the wire is in as good a shape or better than anywhere else along the cable. So the cable, under the cable bands is not so much a concern. In fact, this year, we also took a piece off the saddle where the cable bends and goes down under the roadway. We took the cover off there, and those wires were still in excellent condition.
Shooting from that, how many more years those cables?
Let me have M&M finish their report here, and we'll give it to you.
We won't have to worry about that.
Last time this was done in 2008, 2009, it came back with like a 20 to 30 year life expectancy. But that seems to be pretty typical every time they do one of these. They come back with a 20 to 30 year life expectancy.
We've been doing that for 90 years.
Since '69 is when we first started these inspections in '69. Very chrome, elementary at that point in time. There was no standard. It was open it up. The Bridge Authority was really cutting edge. Back between 90, 92, 93, we unwrapped the entire length of the cables, put in corrosion inhibitor, and that's been a big success in trying to keep down the corrosion in the cables.
On both bridges?
Yes.
Bridge Authority and M&M really pioneered this whole area. We used to have engineers from all over the world when they come in. In fact, we held a conference in the States on cable inspections and suspension bridges. Because we were expecting that as the leading edge.
So now there's a federal guideline as to how to do testing, how you come up with what your service, not necessarily your service like, but your factor of safety in the cables. And so this will be the second cycle that standard's been implemented. So it'll be a good comparison to what was done the last time.
But never forget, things change. You don't want to change quickly. So, a good test is a great thing, but that doesn't. Well, what do they say?
Well, like the engineers say that do this, you've looked at a small piece of the entire length of the cable.
I've never appreciated our low ratings.
Uh,
TV.
Well, So no, but it's good. It has, past experience is no indicator of future performance. But it is an indicator of job.
But we're proactive at the same time, and we're, you know, giving each chance, we are proactively looking for problems and trying to resolve them. Well, that's exactly what it should be.
The factor of safety of our cables is above what they design cables for today for new bridges. So that's a good thing.
That's the deal, it's around there, right?
Way more than they do now.
Thank God.
So does that anti-corrosive, does that last forever, or will we have to redo that at some point in time? That you did in 92, 93?
I'm not exactly sure on when we would want to redo that. We redo it every time we open the cable right now.
Just a
So when we
sec-
take the
just a
section,
section,
we'll put in
not the whole-
new.
You said you did the whole thing.
Right.
In 92.
So when you did that in '92, it was the first time that had been done since the cables were installed.
Right.
And if
There was a
you
red
installed
lead
that
paste
was-
that was around the wires initially, right? And then we installed this corrosion inhibitor. And nowadays, new bridges that are being built are being built with dehumidification systems around the main cables to keep the humidity down and prevent corrosion.
History gives you some hints as to what to look for too. Because in Mid-Hudson, the construction of this bridge was held up over a year. And the cables were in storage in the air. And so that's something we have to look at. It tends to increase the hydrogen a little bit. At Bear Mountain, we had the other issue with the big bands, with mild steel, that inserted into old strands of it. And that led to corrosion in those particular plants. The history, you know, the history of things is our engineers do. Helps you a lot.
And it's interesting because cables come on a reel, right? So they're wound pretty tight, but then they're stretched out, and you find that the cracking is on the curve there, you know, where it's had to tensile out. And that's where you tend to get the crack.
What's the diameter of that?
16 3/4 inches here.
Although, but each strand depends.
Well, that's gonna be fun, this is
Part of our education.
Well, one engineer.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Got the progress, please?
Jobs in progress, Rick Van Winkle, we've started the winter bottom floor rehab project, working on the bottom floors there. The Houston, solar project is scheduled to be turned on near the end of this month. Walkway over the Hudson, the contractor is still planning on being completed by the end of December. That's gonna be tight, we'll keep an eye on that. Newburgh Beacon, the catwalk flooring contractor is asking for an extension of time, which we're reviewing. 9W overpass, has entered phase 2, so we're now into the middle lanes there. Eastbound traffic driving on the new structure right now.
We'll accept the jobs and progress report.
Second.
Question? Now, roll call. Say aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye. Karen, are you ready?
Good, yourself? Okay, first up, this is the monthly investment report. There's 12 investments, all of a routine nature. Those are reflected in the investment reserve report on the next page. Currently, the maintenance reserve fund stands at a balance of $1.4 million. Interest income yield increased to 1.79%. One item to note, this is the first month since we took out the 2012 debt issue that we actually received an interest rate higher than our total interest cost on debt. So while we're in no danger of arbitrage at this point, we just noted that interest rates have finally started to come into line with what we thought.
Brian, how long would we have to earn interest on to be concerned about arbitrage? How are we paying like a dollar amount for it?
It's a percentage. So if the percentage were to rise high enough to cover for the last 6 years of not really making any money on it, obviously the 80s interest rates of 17% would go a long way to making up for what we've been paying the last few years. So really, it's all a matter of, it's a combination of percentage and investable funds. I think it's rather unlikely right now that we would see our.
I wouldn't use any sleep on it.
Accept investment.
Secondly,
Like,
all in favor, say aye.
okay, next up is the annual billing from the New York State Employees Retirement System. The bill for the year ending March 31st, 2019 is $1,465,310. The bill actually decreased by $55,487 or 3.6%. As brief summary of the differences between current year and prior year is on the third page of my note.
So,
Excuse me, I have one question, Brian. This is just contribution of current employee, all right?
Yes, contribution current employees, because once somebody retires, that's it, the balance is already fixed, because they don't really charge. for
My interest is not
retirement.
to go down or something that potentially contribute to by the authority. I want to make sure I have no conflict. I have no conflict.
any other questions? No, all in favor, say aye.
What age are they using, is the state using 85 as a benchmark, the estimate?
You know, I don't know what the exact ages are off the top of my head. Remember, there's a statewide standard that's used by the actuaries, where they assume, depending on when you retire, how many years of life, life expectancy, spousal expectancy, depending on what option you choose. There's a science to it. I don't personally see the actuary reports going into the pension numbers, but I believe they are publicly available.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Okay, next up is the budget and financial plan for 2019 through 2020 pursuant to Section 5, Article 10 of the Constitution. So basically, your bills and regs, 4203. Budget financial plan format. This was given to or recommended to the board by the committees back in September. We were required to leave it available for public inspection and comment for a period of 60 days. We've allowed for more than that time frame. We've had no public comments received as of this date. I wanted to note that. And there have been no changes to it since the original version that I provided or to the committees.
Move it, please. Second. Questions?
Second.
No questions, all in favor, say aye.
Okay, last up. So, the last up is the quarterly operations report for Q3 2018. Note that traffic obviously was up a little bit, revenue was up a little bit less due to mix of traffic. Operating expenditures were up, derived from contractually obligated wage and salary increases and an increase associated with commercial insurance. We're up quite a bit this year in terms of capital improvement spending associated with some bigger jobs that we've taken on this year. But all in all, still not out of line with what we had expected. No action is required by the board, this is just for information purposes. Difference.
That will reflect the increase in commercial traffic as opposed to others. Commercial. Fair amount was down slightly, it's kind of the first 9 months.
Any other questions? Thank you, Brian. Thank you. No information technology report, the first operations. Point to the board, executive director, update activity report.
Report, we have the October 2018 traffic and revenue analysis cash comparison report, as well as the cash sales analysis report.
Any questions? If not, Tara?
Thank you, Chairman. I have submitted the expenditures for October 2018, as well as our financial bank balances for both the checking and savings account. And on a special note in our report, I wanted to announce we did receive a private foundation grant in the amount of $25,000. This will enable us to create some new exhibits at the Manhattan Bridge Museum. And then we also had applied for a $10,000 grant for annual operations at the museum and to help fund school trips to visit the museum. There was a glitch in this, but the foundation indicated that they're very interested in funding this. They asked us to do a rewrite, which we'll submit in April, and we expect that they will award that month. So we're really looking forward to that because that will be an annual gift to support both historic bridges of God's Valley and the Green Mountain Bridge Museum field trips.
Do we apply every year for it, or?
Yes, we have to,
Okay.
but we indicate in the actual grant that we will be applying as a.
So it's not really, they don't award it, like,
They don't,
they
yeah,
only award it for 1 year.
exactly right. And other than that, the trustees met at the Manhattan Bridge Museum on October 19th for the tour of the museum exhibits.
Any other questions?
The only thing I'm starting with is a couple words on the manual.
Sure. As everyone knows, on Monday, Veterans Day, we had the unveiling of the sign for Purple Heart Veteran Memorial, Fair Mountain Bridge. Gala there, really nice event, well attended. We had a lot of support from a lot of the local VFWs as well as members of military services. The veterans are being honored, our employees who work for veterans and advanced in the military. It was a good event. Of course, there's a lot of people there. People who didn't get veterans representatives were there. And without a hesitation about, paying the bridge for the Purple Heart, there's appreciation of guys of all those who were there to serve our country and know the right decision. So,
Good meeting coverage too.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was.
They got some nice, a couple of really nice shots on the outside there.
But it was a great event, and the staff did a great job pulling it together, and it really couldn't happen without all the local support from the VFW, Assemblywoman. It was just great, and our singer, the sophomore.
She was very good. She was excellent.
She was.
That's a good one.
Yeah. She's a kid. That's great. South Carolina.
Wow.
Any presentations before? Any old business, new business? And the attorney finance public information? Insurance for next meeting, December 20th, at 8 o'clock. That's right here. Meantime, have a very nice Thanksgiving. This is my focus. Thank you very much.
We're all prepared for tonight.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Motion to vote. Adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.